telling Adam I got my beard caught in my zipper in my jacket this morning. I was looking down. I did that. I was like, oh gosh, that's.
Oh, Jesus. How the hell did you get the zipper all the way to the top?
It's my first
Milestone.
I'm Josiah.
And I'm Adam.
We are Salida Gun Shop. Today we have sitting with us Tracy Kachadourian, potential mayor running this year. And I'm absolutely delighted for you to come in and sit down with us and kind of go over a few things that, we talked off camera about and kind of bring those to light and kind of bring to light some of the things that we find frustrating with the city, with the county, and the state. We've talked about on other podcasts. My question for you to start is, what really prompted you? Because you did the We Are Chafee podcast, kind of defining who you were prior to this mayoral candidacy. But what drove you into wanting to be a mayor here in Salida?
Sure. So I'm actually a Salida native, born and raised, and actually I've been wanting to run for some type of office since I was around 30 years old. But because of what I did for a living at the time, took me to live in many different states in America and abroad as well. So when I came back to America and decided to add mediation to my business plan, I moved back to Colorado Springs and started Arthur Mediation Services, which is conflict resolution business. And I moved back to my hometown in 2021 here in Salida. Okay. So at that time, I started seeing how our community functioned, because I hadn't been back in a while, right? And I knew I wanted to run for office, and I looked at, serving on the Board of Education. I became a member of the Rotary, which I still am a member of the Rotary.
Sunrise?
No, the noon one.
Noon, okay. Just had to make sure everybody,
Yeah. And although I have attended that Rotary as well.
Nice.
And anyway, just getting back in and integrated into the community, making new connections, getting reacquainted with people that I grew up with, at Longfellow. And so then I was on another podcast in February, and that podcast was pre-mayoral running, and so several people heard that podcast and approached me to run for mayor specifically.
Oh, nice compliment.
So that says a lot, right?
Yeah.
It says a lot. It's an honor, number one, to be asked to run for such a position, but it also tells me that people believe in what I do, and they feel like what I do will make a positive impact.
Yeah. So conflict resolution, successful business. You mentioned kind of off camera, we're talking director. You've looked at budgets. You understand the idea of what you could bring to the table, but what is asked of you as a mayor. You've kind of done an amazing deep dive. Off camera, we were talking about this. So I know you weren't part of the conversation, so I'm curious if you could easily define what the mayor is responsible for in Salida, and where those powers kind of limit out and or extend for us. I know we kind of went through, I think, was it an article?
Yes, it's an article.
Perfect.
So basically, my research comes from the Colorado Revised Statutes of what the state requirements are to run for mayor and what our role is, but also taking into account some articles that have been written regarding the history of how Salida came to have a mayoral council form of government. Okay. So basically, based on state statute, a mayor council form of government allows for the mayor to be an executive head of the city. but not a major decision maker. So basically, the mayor can appoint positions to the city. For example, the mayor can appoint a new city administrator, for example. Okay. But in 1985, the city council passed an ordinance providing for the employment of a city administrator for the city of Salida. And that's how that came about. Because Salida chose to do that. The city council passed that. Okay, so together the elected council and mayor hire the city administrator who runs the day-to-day operations of the city.
Okay.
So the city administrator runs the day-to-day operations. And I think what is miscommunicated, or maybe what the people of Salida, the constituents, don't understand, is that that's not the mayor's job.
Right.
That belongs to the city administrator.
I don't think without having this conversation, I would have truly understood council, city administrator, mayor are all parts of the puzzle, but what roles they truly do play.
Right. And so in addition to that, the city administrator's role is defined in Chapter 2 of the Salida Municipal Code. City council and mayor also appoint the city attorney and municipal judge. Okay. Now, because we're a mayor-council form of government, there is an elected council, an elected mayor, and the mayor is the ceremonial head of the city who presides over city council meetings. Okay? So, of course, the role of mayor is to preside over city council meetings to ensure that code of conduct, that it's, everyone's being listened to, that the constituents can come and propose things, etc. And it's our job to listen to them.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, then in 1981, then the city council passed an ordinance defining the mayor role, in that the mayor shall not be entitled to vote on any matter before city council except in a tie.
Okay.
And if the mayor has a conflict of interest within that vote, we have to pass our vote on to one of the other city council members. Okay. The mayor may veto also any ordinances or resolutions authorizing the expenditure of money, i.e. the budget.
Okay. So you really are almost utilizing everything you did in your previous career with conflict resolution, understanding both sides, good, bad, and different, to make sure that, again, code of conduct is the structure is correct for all the meetings, making sure everybody is heard, making sure those that do want to present are relevant.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So that's, I think, a major advantage that I don't see any politician we've ever had, in the state could have those types of, tools in the tool bag to be able to bring to that position, right? So it's almost not even an outside the box thinking, it's the box needs conflict resolution.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Is there a lot I guess my question would be, is there a lot of conflict or improper conduct happening at the council meetings?
I can say that you can watch the city council meetings and you can make your own judgment.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd be curious to see where things have been. I've been to a couple council meetings. I've seen some of the ordinance that were brought up that would majorly affect a personal friend and business owner in town, and the ability for us to show up for that person proved that this was not a good decision. This was blatantly a corrupt, I guess corrupt might not be the right word, but it makes the most sense for me to think that they were going specifically after that business and that process, telling them how to run their business. So I'd be curious to see if we can get Dan Shore on and kind of go through what his experiences were trying to keep the cats in line, so to speak.
Right.
So, okay, nice.
It's actually really interesting. The city administrator. So then the city administrator is running let's say the first responder / law enforcement, fire department,
Right.
public works,
Right. Absolutely.
all that stuff
So
is under them.
absolutely. Now, where the mayor comes in is that if there is a dispute,
Mm-hmm.
then the mayor comes in to help resolve that dispute.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Which is
Are
in
they-
Which
the
is the
wheelhouse.
mediator.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
a mediator.
Yeah.
And what's your background?
So if there's
Yeah.
a complaint,
yeah.
Okay.
you know, whether within those entities that you just mentioned, the mayor goes in as the peacemaker, as the mediator to help resolve whatever issue there is.
So built in instead of having to bring outside counsel. You're already in
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely. Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay. So along those lines with budgetary stuff, if a multi-million-dollar proposal came about, the mayor would have veto power or at least a direction to say, hey, maybe this isn't the way the city should go.
It's not responsible looking at
Correct.
both sides of
Yeah.
it. Okay. Because you mentioned in an article with Arc Valley Voice, you want to be able to bridge the divide, unite common purpose, and making all of our lives better. So the other side of that is, or are the things that are coming about for our city a good decision for its future? We've got an amazing tourism. We've got businesses that are year-round. We have seasonal businesses. My follow-up question for bridging the divide is, how do you imagine the ability to make sure that both of those, not necessarily industries, but both of those ways of doing business in the city, let alone the county, can continue to be successful? Or is that even an easy thing for a mayor to help narrow down when things are
Right.
brought?
So I think one thing as well, the mayor and the council members work together. Okay. There are 3 wards in our city. Ward 1, 2, and 3. Okay. This is going to help answer your question.
I trust you.
So, there's 2 people that serve in each ward. So there's 6 council members and then the mayor. So the mayor's role is to ensure and to help those council members listen to their constituents in their ward. So if their constituents are telling them that they're having a business issue and what that issue is, and they're bringing something to council, it's our responsibility to ask questions, right? About the impact, how it's impacting, for example, how small businesses are being impacted by whether or not F Street is opened or closed is a hot topic, right? And actually, so therefore the city council put forward, and it will be on the ballot this November, that F Street, that the city, the constituents, the voters can vote whether to leave it open for 3 years or to close it for 3 years. For example, okay? So the city council listened to the community in that and gave it back to the community to vote on that issue.
I'm curious. This is actually an interesting thing. Is there data behind that? Like, are the businesses providing data showing that F Street being closed has impacted their business, or in a positive way, net positive, or negative? Because
I know that Mayor Shore did go to the businesses and took some type of survey and asked their opinions. On the other hand, I've heard some businesses were not asked. So I don't know. I was not in that specific situation. I'm just explaining what I've been told.
But it would be on the mayor to basically bridge the divide, right? Bring that information to see if it's warranted, right?
Right. So the mayor can't decide solely to open or close F Street. No. Right? But can work with city council, the city administrator, because the city administrator gets all the information, like from all the entities you stated. And then the city administrator and the clerk create packets to present to council.
Okay.
Okay, so we don't read all the contracts
Right.
verbatim.
Okay.
The city administrator does. So whatever contract is being put forward for the council to vote on,
Mhm.
we get, how do they call it? We get a
Kind of like
kind
cliff
of
notes
a
or a synopsis?
yeah, like a cliff note
Okay.
synopsis of it, and then we talk about it,
Nice.
and then we let the public comment.
Mhm.
That's what public comment is during city council.
Do they have ward meetings then too? Since there are 3, do they have separate ward, or are they? How do the wards get their information, or how do they get the constituents' feedback other than like city council meetings where everybody's there?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the very details of it, you would have to speak to each ward member, right? But what I have witnessed is that some ward members are very good at speaking with their constituents within their ward. How that is being done may vary.
Okay.
I don't think that there's a standard of doing that.
Right.
If there is, I don't know. I'm not aware of it. I don't know everything,
Would it make
right?
sense to?
But they on the city website, of course, all the council members and the mayor's contact information is there. So people can always email us, call us to ask questions, to work through the process. Of course, then there's media outlets, the newspaper, to get issues out there, podcasts like yours, etc. But how that is being utilized and how effectively,
Right.
that might be where the gap is, right? And because different generations get their information differently,
Right.
right? So younger generations may listen to more podcasts and go on social media than the older generation. Does that make it right or wrong? No. It's just how they feel comfortable accessing information. So maybe the question is, can that be done better?
Yeah. Could you
right?
leverage social
Can
media?
we
Could you
leverage?
leverage
Yes.
more of a forward-facing on it? Because I know, what was it? Yeah, PT had a Instagram handle, Facebook, trying to get information out there. I thought that was great to see that type of leading forward. And I think it's more prevalent now with the amount of information that can be disseminated very, very quickly.
Absolutely. And I'm working on something, and I can't convey it right now because I don't have all my questions answered, but I do have a plan for that.
Wonderful. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think communicating and disseminating correct information or dispelling incorrect information will be very
Absolutely. And I think another lack of communication is when and this is what, remember, I'm on a listening tour as part of my campaign. So I'm listening to people and what they feel is occurring either in city council and or the community, right? So what I've been told is that the constituents feel that city council does not listen to them. They feel that when the majority, quote, has an issue brought to city council, that should be the majority vote, and that city council should vote accordingly. They feel that is not happening.
Yeah.
So that in either way, no matter what the city council votes on, they then therefore don't communicate effectively as to why they voted that way.
Right.
And in the mix of all of that is a disconnect, I feel, as having attended several council meetings myself over the years, is that some council members are really good at asking deeper questions to getting to the root of things and how it's going to affect other parts of the community, right?
Right.
But then there is a lack of questions being asked and things being voted on, and then later finding out, oh, we have to pay a water bill, we have to pay electricity. There are other things that are not being taken into account when that vote happens, and then it's later found out that we owe more money that we didn't think of.
Gotcha. So would it be on, at this point, if you see a lax in those types of questions, those deeper dives, is it on the mayor then to make sure that those questions are being asked, or at least being considered as something that could be tertiary effects of this vote?
Yes, absolutely.
And taking that, I would say that power, but taking that initiative really to
Mhm.
make sure that we're looking at this in a broad
Yeah.
spectrum, both sides.
And as mayor, I'm an educator. I have a master's in education, and I teach conflict resolution, whether it's in the workplace, or, in the real estate industry or whatever, right? So my idea is to work with the city council members to understand conflict resolution and to understand the questions that they could be asking
Right.
that will take the deeper dive and will get to the underlying issues and interest of whatever is being brought forward to the council, so that we can try to understand the big picture,
Right.
the vision of whatever it is.
Right.
Like, maybe it's going to bring more elder care residences, right? The elder care community really, people want to retire here, right? But if they have to eventually live in a retirement center, we don't effectively have that. We do have some, right?
I can speak to
And
that.
some are being built,
Yeah.
but how are they going to transition?
Right.
Right?
It's like building a big enough school as we continue to grow.
Right.
Making
And
sure that.
yeah, absolutely. So what were you going to say?
Oh, no. So I feel like this is a common occurrence now. So my previous life was a paramedic.
Oh, neat.
So
Thank you. I could not do that. I
I
am not good around
neither.
blood or needles.
signed up for it, got paid for it. The thing I would
And
say
he was good at it.
that is here is very different than a lot of bigger cities,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's transitional care, home care, hospice care. A big thing you find here are aging people that are on an island.
I understand that.
Right.
So they have basic necessities that can't be met, whether that's they've lost their driver's license, they're able to live at home perfectly fine, but they can't get to the grocery store. They can't get to the pharmacy. If they do have a medical emergency, there's nobody to contact that's anywhere nearby. I mean, states away. Super common is they will have a medical emergency and be discharged. I think now they've kind of figured out something to get them back home. But it's really interesting here because there's only one place, or, let's say they go to the Front Range for a procedure. How do they get back home?
How do they get there?
Who's taking care of them? Who's there to take care of their pets? Maybe their significant other. Maybe they're the caregiver for their significant other.
Absolutely.
That is actually really an interesting hurdle here specifically in the places that I've worked. What I would say is that definitely needs some deep dives into, and it's community, right? We all have to be a part of the community, whether it's your neighbor or, somebody just it's
Yeah,
an interesting one.
it's tough because there are a number of seniors who have to move away, like you said, somewhere else. Maybe it's family members in another state to retirement homes, what have you, in other cities. And I think we could do better. I think Salida could be in a place where people want to come retired. They already want to do that, but they're somewhat afraid because we don't have all of those services built. Yeah.
That would be kind of a niche.
It would
that's
be a
not
niche
provided
that
in
would
a-
bring more revenue as well.
would hate to say it, or it's hard to deliver this except for being truthful. And retirement usually happens in the United States 65, right? And everybody thinks of 65 to 75, right? But we forget about, I have family members that have lived into their 90s,
Right.
longer, right?
Right.
And fortunately for me and a lot of people I know, those folks have always been able-bodied people.
Yeah, so give me 1 second. I do elder care mediation as well. So I did a presentation at the Rotary about a month ago, of which I'm a member of, and I did some statistics because Places to Age came in about a week or two before me, and they did a really great presentation about their elder care services. And so I can tell you our elder care stats in our community, the number of retirees in 2024, okay, we don't have 2025 statistics yet, right? In the US are 40.8 million people. In Colorado, 6 million retirees, okay? Now let's break it down to local stat. In our Salida population in 2024 was around 5,700. Salida's retirement population from that 5,700 is around 1,600.
Wow.
So that is about a third, right,
Yeah.
of our population.
Wow.
So when you look at stats like that, and yeah, our seniors need
That would be an
services.
amazing facility. My brother back in Kansas, he runs a retirement, everything from individual homes that are on campus to high rise for hospice.
Absolutely.
And everything to the end. Really.
Right.
And he's been there 12 plus 13 years now, and he's seen buildings get torn down and built back up, and new residents and old residents move in and move across the street and move into the high rise, through the 70s, 80s into their 90s, and that type of thing. In this area would be an amazing facility to be able to provide jobs. And
Yes, and right now there is
resources.
a facility being built.
Nice.
It's projected to be built, and they're working on that right now. However, and it'll start a little smaller from what I understand it, but then they're going to be able to build it out in the future. So we are moving in that direction, which is a positive thing. Yeah.
So not necessarily on the, mayoral
Right,
part
not
of it,
necessarily, but yeah, go ahead.
You have that elder care, you have experience in that, so it's another aspect of the community that needs to grow, that you can bring light to make sure that we're looking at tertiary effects, we're looking at other things that might affect the growing population and the aging population in our county.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you also mentioned in another article about the Chiefy Housing Authority. You applied.
Yes.
What do those meetings look like as far as seeing what the potential for the county is versus what it isn't?
Right. So Chiefy Housing Authority has an opening for someone to serve on their board. Now, as I think this was 2 city council meetings ago, where the current director of the board, Monica Haskell, came and spoke about that there's a new position coming available. Now, a city council person can, or the mayor, serve on the board if they turn in an application and are approved, right? But you can also serve that position without being on council. Like, you could apply and come on the board. So whether or not I become mayor, I think housing is a great need and it's a great issue. It's a divisive issue in our community regarding workforce housing versus, affordable housing and what all that looks like. It's a very divisive issue. So whether or not I'm voted in as mayor, I turned in my application because I am very interested in our housing.
With that being said, we kind of talked off camera about the things that are being handed down from the state level about specific ordinances or requirements for new housing developments. The pushback that a city or a county would have in order to say this is not relevant here, is that something that in the city council, the mayor, the city admin would have the capability of having a, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
With the information that we talked about off camera about state mandates or the requirement for building code to be changed, is that something that the city administrator, the mayor, and city council would have any power to push back on?
So regarding section 3116-104, ordinances approved by mayor of the Colorado Revised Statute states only if an ordinance adopted pursuant to section 314102 or 314302 so provides. Any ordinance adopted and all resolutions authorizing the expenditure of money or the entering into of a contract require the approval and signature of the mayor before they become valid, except as otherwise provided in this section. Let me go forward. I'm reading this verbatim from the
CRS.
From the CRS.
Yeah.
Such ordinance or resolutions shall be presented to the mayor within 48 hours after the action of the governing body for the mayor's signature approving the same. If the mayor disapproves, the mayor shall return such ordinance or resolution to the governing body at its next regular meeting with the mayor's objections in writing. Okay. The governing body shall cause such objections to be entered at large upon the record and shall proceed at the same or next subsequent meeting to consider the question. Quote, shall the ordinance or resolution notwithstanding the mayor's objections be passed? If 2/3 of the members of the governing body vote in the affirmative, such resolution shall be valid and such ordinance shall become a law the same as if it had been approved by the mayor. Okay. Now, if the mayor fails to return the next subsequent meeting of the governing body, any resolution or ordinance presented to the mayor for the mayor's approval, the same shall become a valid ordinance or resolution as the case may be in like manner as if it had been approved by the mayor.
Gotcha. But that would be only something that's coming from the governing body within the city, not necessarily from the state or even the county. It would still be something that
Would count.
Yep. Okay. But with the help of city council, the city administrator, and the mayor, and push comes to shove, there's a possibility it's not necessarily something that needs to be taken care of in the county. Like, we could take that to the state and make sure that that's not something that is regulated.
I believe that's correct.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe that's correct.
Not direct power, but at least the ability to say, whoa.
Absolutely. And if that's not correct, then all of our researcher can give us a statute that states otherwise.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know everything, and I'm all about education and learning.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said before when we were kind of talking, it seemed like you really did a deep dive on what the mayor's role and responsibilities are compared to what, I guess, my interpretation of what the mayor was. The mayor ran the city. Like, mayor was the one that did everything, you know. And now knowing that you're that mayor position is a mediator, is a person that's really going to take control of the situations, the meetings, to make sure things are run smoothly and as appropriately as possible.
Absolutely. And I also in researching, mayor role and, getting ready for all that comes with running for office, right? Which is a lot, but it's fun. And I wake up every day, I'm excited. Like, I'm excited. This is our community.
Yeah.
As the mayor, I'm not the judge, jury, right? And I just wake up every day and I think, how can we make this town better? How can we all come together to create a Salida that embraces our history, but also encapsulates the changes that will happen. It's a reality that will happen, and as a growing city and etc. How can we all come together to make it a city that we all want to live, work, thrive, and retire in? So I was Googling.
The verb.
I was Googling what an effective mayor, the qualities that an effective mayor should have. And so, AI assisted in this. I know AI is somewhat controversial, but AI can take information from all, right? From all, what am I trying to say? Technologies or all.
There's a lot of resources out there that
that it
can draw that
yeah,
information from.
it draws all that information from a lot of different avenues. And so an effective mayor requires a diverse set of skills, okay? And blending strong leadership, financial literacy, and community engagement, okay? So a mayor should be a strategic visionary, must be a visionary thinker, have clear, ambitious vision for the city's future, okay? And help develop strategic plan. Now, mind you, we live in a statutory city, but in general, the mayor should be a visionary thinker, okay? Should be decisive, make tough decisions, sometimes unpopular ones, right? Address complex issues to move the city forward. Must be willing to take ownership of successes and failures that occur under their leadership, okay? Be a good communicator, as I mess up that word.
The words.
Be a good communicator, an even better listener, engaging respectfully with constituents, the media, such as yourself, and other officials, i.e. city administrator, council members, etc. Be a collaborator. Work effectively with the city council and other government levels, right? So why I'm saying this is because I feel, based on my research of the position and who I am, what my personality is. It's almost as if the mayor role was written for me. So let's bring that to a close, okay? So I have taken pretty much since high school, they call them personality tests. So in high school, they give you a personality test so that you can kind of see who you are, so what job would most likely fit you, right? So it starts in high school. So I've been tracking this since high school. So I did personality test, DISC, Strength Finders by Gallup, Myers-Briggs, okay, and Place, okay? Now, my strengths and how I built my mediation company all came from this, okay? And now it's conducive to being mayor. So all of these personality tests say my strengths are a peacemaker. It involves offering relief from injustice, right? Resolving disputes, bringing peace to whatever conflict, to whatever people are experiencing conflict. I'm an executor. I'm very disciplined. I'm an achiever. I know how to make things happen. I'm an influencer and I'm a visionary, okay? So, and I'm a thinker. I'm extroverted, intuitive, a thinker, and that's based on one of the personality tests, right? Now, I'm also very conscientious, which in that I'm conscientious about other people's feelings, thoughts, actions, why they do things the way they do. So I don't know. You tell me. That's just basically who I am in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And I believe it clearly falls in line with the job description and duties of the mayor.
And nowhere in there in this whole conversation, previous life, did we mention anything about you being a politician.
No.
Which I think a lot of people are driving for, getting away from a career politician, getting away from somebody that thinks they know the system, how to work the system, and somebody that's going to bring something to the table instead of take
Absolutely.
every single time.
Absolutely.
I'd be curious, as a future ambitious visionary, what's your vision for Salida? What is the future vision for Salida?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I know that there are some top issues for Salida that is basically causing division, right? And so part of my vision is to build consensus, to be on this listening tour as I am, and I do take notes, and I'm categorizing everything as to what people are telling me, whether it's housing, elder care, etc., right? So my vision right now, right, in the race, okay, and then we'll get to the overall vision, is to hear Salida's residents and define their priorities, right? Then work to achieve them. So key issues include balancing growth while preserving our unique charm. Ensuring affordable housing, not enduring, although people are enduring the housing issue, right? Ensuring affordable housing for families and workers, managing tourism, the benefits of it and the drawbacks, maintaining public safety. I worked in child protective services. I have for 2 years here in our community. I have a unique understanding of what happens that other people don't see. Right? The struggles in that. We must manage expansion without overtaxing resources. Both housing demands need special attention. And that's why I applied for Chafee Housing, right?
Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
Just because I'm really curious. Does the city have powers over affordable housing and who is placed in that housing over the state? Because, and this has been brought to my attention, that there are people that are being placed in affordable housing that are not from this area, do not work in this area.
Is that the Section 8 housing, or is that something different?
That is.
Okay.
And so is that play, is there a different role that plays?
I don't know if I can effectively answer that, but
Okay.
I can tell you from experience that in working with, as a mediator, I do court-ordered mediations and I do private mediation. So I work in and outside of the court, and I've always been affiliated with some housing program and or working with nonprofits regarding housing.
Right.
So you mentioned HUD, and you're mentioning, does the state override city rule regarding
Placement.
Yeah.
So I do know that if someone, for example, in Colorado Springs is on HUD housing and they want to relocate to Salida, they have to put in an application that gets approved by the state, I believe, in order to allow them to move. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
and the deeper question there is, why would the state be placing somebody from Colorado Springs into Salida, Colorado, where they don't have a job?
Because that person, whoever that person is, right, is wanting to move to Salida for a purpose.
Okay.
Maybe they have family here.
Okay.
because that brings
an
them more
application process.
support.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an
Yeah, that makes
application
sense. Okay.
process.
So
So
I
it's
think our
not
understanding-
communistic in the fact that, that, the state is telling this person, you have to move here.
That
Okay.
was
It's the
our
person's
understanding. Okay.
choice.
Gotcha.
So, and the person has to apply, and there may be a waiting list, and there often is always a waiting list for places such as Salida or Aspen, kind of the tourist.
Right.
There's always a waiting list.
Okay.
Even in Colorado Springs, to get on housing there's a waiting list.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would the person who's already established here have a higher likelihood of
getting
being
housing
placed?
here. Now, that is a great question. In my opinion, just as a person, not speaking as potential mayor, I believe that should be the case. I believe that is the case.
Okay.
I would hope that I just feel that, like, if somebody has some sort of job, family, they've established a life here, and they're applying for housing in an area that would make it more affordable for them to live,
Right.
it seems more realistic than, if I live in Colorado Springs, I want to move to Salida too.
Right.
So
Right. I think how it is set up is that people who live in their current city, there may be a waiting list, but they, I believe, it's according to the waiting list, right? And where they fall on that waiting list. So there could be, I think this is correct, and our people out there who know more than me can, again, reply to this, right? But if there's, let's say, 20 people on a waiting list, the first 10 may be current residents, and then that 11th person is someone from somewhere else, whether they're out of state or in state. So how that is being worked through, that I'm not quite aware of, but I believe it's according to the waiting list.
Gotcha.
And I imagine all these decisions are super difficult and very tough to make. And I just look at it as a very simple-minded gun guy that runs a business.
Right. And as far as the mayor role is concerned, it's not the mayor's role to tell CHA or to tell HUD or to tell whomever is making that decision how to make it.
And they work in conjunction, correct? CHA and HUD?
Yes. Yeah, they work in conjunction. Now, if CHA or whomever in that situation has an issue that they want to bring to council, again, they go to the city administrator first. And that is what I'm trying to make clear to the public, that it's the city administrator who has the power, not the mayor in those regards. So we are because we're a statutory city under a municipality, and we're a statutory city over 2,000 people, that is how the mayor council role came to be in our municipality.
Kind of going back to that number you said, Salida has 5,700 residents?
In 2024, approximately.
Approximately in 2024. And have you seen numbers from 2019 or around that time?
No, not recently. Why do you ask?
The only reason why I ask is, like, we've seen the growth, right?
Right.
And 5,700 seems way underestimated.
We're talking about the city of Salida, not the county.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, the county has approximately 20,000 people.
Which is only, if my numbers are correct, like 3,000 people more than 2019.
Interesting.
I remember looking at this number because it was like 17 or...
Makes you scratch your head on how that growth did not spike like we've experienced, I guess, in the growth and the businesses or that's not the businesses, but the housing that has gone up.
Yeah.
Now there is no housing, but they're all full. How are they full if we've only grown by that minuscule amount since then?
I'd be curious.
Sounds like a fair point.
Like long-term resident, or let's say people that are doing vacation homes here, retirement homes, second homes, third
Right.
homes, or whatever it may be. It seems like a low number for
the city
the
to
city.
only have 5,700. You
it's-
think it should be more?
I would imagine it was by this point in time it was 8,000, 10,000.
Mm.
Be curious how that's filtered out, and how that number is funneled down into that 5,700 is really kind of where our question is driving, to be able to say, oh, the town's small, it's only 5,700. Well, if you're doing that for tourism, wow, but you get here and you're like, wow, there's 15,000 people here. You feel that because the grocery store prices, or the wait at the gas station, or whatever it might be. You're like,
Right.
this seems a lot more than 5,000. I grew up in a town of 2,500, and I guarantee you there were not 2,500 people in that town. It was more like 1,500. But hey, 2,500 instead of Missouri having altitude, it was
Right.
population.
Right.
You're rolling into Leadville and you
Right.
see the altitude, and you're like, oh, no, that's not the population. That's the altitude. Missouri is completely different. So that's where I think we're coming from on that, just to make sure there's a realization that you talked about tourism growing, inappropriate taxing, or if there is inappropriate taxing, being able to steer the boat in the right
Navigate
direction,
it.
right? There is the Chaffee Tourism meeting that's every month. Have you attended any of those yet?
I think there's one coming up, and I'm
Yep.
attending it. I
Yeah.
think, is it tomorrow? It's it's on my
Tuesdays?
calendar.
Tuesdays
Yeah.
or something like that next
Maybe
week?
it's it's next week.
So it's very interesting to see the numbers that they're gathering, and the way that they're trying to promote the county, which is it's great, but it also kind of puts a lot of stress on those businesses that are seasonal when there's not that tourism like they
Right.
expected.
Right. And so, I feel like part of my role as mayor is to talk to these separate entities, right? And see how do you work together? How do you work with other
Right.
people, to whoever those other people are, right? To say, hey, how can we address this issue together instead of separately? For example, we have, I believe, 120 nonprofits in our county. When you divide that number by the population of 20,000,
Right.
how many people per nonprofit are there, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll calculate it right now. We have roughly 20,000 people, right, in our county, and there's 120 nonprofits. That's 166 people per nonprofit.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of these nonprofits, they're all valid. They're all doing good stuff
They are.
for the community. I'm not saying that. That's not the point.
Right.
The point is, how do we get those nonprofits to work together to really benefit the issues of the city and or the county?
Right.
Right? How can they collectively come together to say, hey, I'm doing the same thing. How can we pivot a little bit to address issues that maybe we're not addressing?
Elder care being one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think another thing I wanted to bring up too, with your listening tour, have you had the opportunity to listen to ranchers, farmers, homesteaders, and hear their voice at all, or is that something that you hope to bring to the table as far as that listening tour is concerned?
Typically, ranchers are in they're not in the city. With that being said, I know that the land use code, for example, was passed for the county. Now we're dealing with Salida that is being about right now in city council. So how I would answer that question is, if I were mayor, how do those land use codes benefit each other? What's the positives and what's the negatives? Can those land use codes complement each other to where it's benefiting the whole of the community?
So you look at the capability of having, and I brought up with our interview with Jason, and the farmers market. It's gangbuster every Saturday. Like, you could have it 2 days a week, 3 days a week, and there would still be people participating. And it's small entities that are bringing their wares to that, and it's one of those amazing things that a small community like this has. And you see it in bigger cities too, but it drives the need for people to understand like where that food comes from, whether it's county, whether it's coming out of the county,
Right.
whether it's grown in a garden locally. We have a really good friend who does an amazing garden just in town and usually overproduces. So our fridge is always full of, vegetables.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things to take into effect, like those land use codes, how would they affect those types of people? And those that enjoy driving all the way from Colorado Springs for
Right.
the farmers market on those weekends, and
Right.
spending the day going to the hot springs or other entities in the county, but are driven here because of something that is unique to our area, and how that continues to benefit financially, economically, the city's tourism, as well as those businesses that want to continue to thrive. So that's why I bring that up as something, not necessarily as a idea that ranchers, farmers, homesteaders, small producers, those types of things are not being listened to, but it's part of the community.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
nice, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else that we talked about prior that you wanted to touch on?
Good. Is there anything that I didn't clearly communicate or?
You want to be mayor?
Yes, absolutely. I will be mayor.
Yes. I wanted to correct you so many times. Like if, and I was like,
No,
stop
I know.
saying if.
I know. When I become mayor. Yes, absolutely. When I become mayor. Because I do believe I am the best candidate. 100%.
Having this conversation with you and knowing what defines the mayor has really kind of made me change my questioning on everything. Because a lot of times, we participate in the What's Up, the coffee talk downtown, and I'm one of two businesses. Salida Gun Shop is one of two businesses that shows up on the 50 highway corridor, and obviously, the state is responsible for 50 highways, beautification, and all those things, and the city just recently took over First Street out to past. We might be wrong on this. It goes past where Skanga Meat is.
Oh, right.
So the bridge. So that has been a detour location for larger trucks since they don't go down through downtown. But to be represented on a monthly basis I think is important, knowing that the consistency that the businesses on Highway 50 bring for tax revenue, year-round workers. And the need for living here economically is something that I don't want to be ignored or slighted. That's not why I wanted to have this conversation with you, but it was one of those things like we are contributing to this community, whether through donations, through taxes, through providing jobs. A lot of our customers drive an exorbitant amount of time to come to Salida Gun Shop and then spend money elsewhere. Now, if we weren't the driving force for them coming here, they would go to Colorado Springs.
Right.
They would go to Denver.
Right.
And being able to draw more and more people as a business to our community is our purpose.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I know, let me make this clear. As mayor, it's a nonpartisan position. Okay, so come November, there's not going to be a D, R, or U by anyone's name on city council or as mayor.
Yeah.
It's nonpartisan. Now, let's take that philosophy to your gun shop. I think by building community, being a gun owner is a hot topic, right? In our society in general,
it's not
right?
partisan.
Yeah.
It's
For
American.
everybody.
It's American, right? So let's not get into the politics of it. What I'm trying to say is, I think people have a mindset to place everything in a partisan way, okay? Most people, I can't say everyone, right? So even when I talk to people, well, are you Republican, Democrat? How are you registered? It doesn't matter.
Think to ask you that.
It doesn't matter because it's nonpartisan. I'm not here as mayor. It's not set up that way, okay? So now let's take that to what you were saying about your gun shop here. Now, is it a politically divisive, can be in America, right? To be a gun owner, to own a gun shop, right? that shouldn't matter. What should matter is that you own a gun shop in Salida, Colorado that is bringing people to our community.
Right.
And how can we support you? It should, the businesses, I think we should get out of the mindset of being partisan.
I think a lot of the
Does that make
businesses-
sense? Am I way
Yeah.
off base?
No, and
Should we cut this out? You can. I don't know.
well,
but
I think it's important that, you know, you brought up, like, we do run a business on Highway 50. That is a gun shop. We train individuals, we educate individuals, both
absolutely.
firearms related as well as non-firearms related.
Right.
We support the community in every possible way that we can. Nonprofits, shooting clubs, livestock,
teams,
football.
Yeah,
4-H.
absolutely.
But what is important to me is the fact that the other businesses that are on Highway 50 are, again, you know, they're bringing in tax revenue, we're bringing in tax revenue, and the focus always seems to be on downtown.
I'll be direct on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a pie, and there's this much of the pie
Mm,
that is Highway 50.
mm-hmm.
This little sliver here is downtown.
And I want to let you know that you're not the first people who have brought this to my
Mhm.
attention. You're not the only people who feel like Highway 50 should be better utilized in bringing in business, in having visitors and locals, whether they're in Salida or in our county or otherwise, coming to Highway 50 as often as they go downtown.
The uniqueness that downtown is definitely an attractant. I will never
Right.
skew that. But the consistency that Highway 50 provides for the community is always something that's, I believe, taken advantage of, and or just assume that it's always going to be there. And there's not necessarily a common voice, and this might be on the businesses ourselves, right? Not creating some consistency and understanding that we want to be treated fairly and getting more support, whether it's from city councils, you know, notifications, or any of the other capabilities. that are out
Can
there.
you be more specific about how you feel the businesses are being slighted by city council or the community?
Numbers wise, let's look, and we don't have to record any of this, but I want to bring this to your attention.
okay.
So in the research that I had Sydney kind of look into, downtown central area investment, over $1.25 million of documented for downtown streetscapes. And a lot of this has to do with funding is coming from city versus state, 50 highway, right?
Yeah.
But what does that mean for the city standing up for those businesses that are bringing
Right.
in that and going to CDOT and saying, why isn't there a walking path past going out to Walmart so that those that want to get to Walmart can walk, can bike
There's-
safely
There's
all the way out there?
Well, there's Rainbow Boulevard, but they don't have bike lanes, is what you're saying,
even
and
the
or a walking
path
lane.
to the bowling alley is not present.
Yeah, that's right.
To Rushton's Automotive,
Right.
crossing the street on the
I
west side
understand.
is not possible.
Right. And there is that large space in front of your store all the way down to Walmart. It's like it's almost like another lane you could drive on that could be
Right.
transferred into a sidewalk
I
or
got a
something.
notification from CDOT in 23, I think it was, as a landowner right here. Hey, 2024, we're going to build, and this is just for your information, right? And we're going to build, and we've got the watershed documentation, and this is going to be going on. Just be prepared. There's going to be construction in front of your
Okay.
business. 24 has come and gone. We're almost done with 25, and there's been nothing. There hasn't been anything
That's interesting.
moved out there. But yet, you look at what happened in Poncha Springs, and they have, and I've sit on I live out there, and I sit in on the Board of Trustees meetings. There have been millions of dollars earmarked for them on 50 Highway to make what was a absolute catastrophe between 24 and 50 And
Mhm.
now they're talking about spending another, well, they have budgeted another $1.4 million to continue from right where Holiday RV is, where that
Mhm.
T is,
Mhm.
into into the east side there.
Okay.
They've already proposed another $16 million worth of improvements, and they haven't even spent the 1.4 million yet. They want to put a roundabout before, so that you can get
Oh, yeah,
from
the roundabout. I've
on
heard
50
about
highway.
roundabouts. Yeah. Roundabouts are going in all over
Yeah.
America. Someone loves roundabouts, I'm
It's
telling
not
you.
Americans.
Someone loves roundabouts because
But
they are everywhere, popping up everywhere.
so I guess not camera related or anything, but
Right.
the idea is like the amount of attention, and you can't say that city council stands up and says, well, why isn't CDOT doing this? Like as a council member, as a mayor, the ability to be a voice for the businesses that are literally 75 to 85% of tax revenue, and just going, well, it's 50 highway. And again, I don't know the back channel conversations. I don't know what CDOT's pushing back on, but again, it's one of those things that so you were here when the beautification of Highway 50 proposal came through. How much money was spent paying somebody to tell us that we should do something on 50 Highway that was not actually fiscally possible because 50 Highway is not owned by the city? Over $25,000 immediately was paid.
And that's where I think the questioning, again,
Right?
the questioning, like,
What about the parking situation?
right, and
Yeah.
questioning why, and asking the deeper questions, and having, as mayor, getting the council to understand that as well.
Right.
Also talking with the city administrator. What questions, how do you approach this?
Right.
How do you make these decisions? When stuff comes to you, how do you make decisions of, as you're reading through these documents,
Right.
what to pass on to us? Because that's the city administrator doing that.
Right. And I think that's maybe the businesses on 50 Highway, and me personally, like I did not get a business degree. I have a management informations. He's coming from, medical industry, having healthcare in his bones, and now being an owner, managing people and running a business, a successful business, I hope for continuing through the future.
Right.
I want every aspect of my business to be above board. I want every aspect of our business to be something that people aspire to, and I want to continue to bring jobs to this. We have half of our lot that's not being used, and I'm hitting roadblock after roadblock of like, hey, we want to put a building back here. Okay, well, you're gonna have to talk code enforcement. You're gonna have to talk to this. I'm like, who's the person that I need to talk to make sure that, one, if I go to the bank and it's like, hey, here's my $1.5 million question, but now I go back to the city or I go back to the county and they're saying, well, this is going to cost you $40,000. So I go from 1.5 now to 2.5. It's not possible. And I think that's what happens with the housing situation. There's so much red tape and so much unknowing. Like there's not the person that goes, here's the rules.
Like more streamlined.
Yeah.
You want more streamlined information.
To be able to know, like, hey, you want to bring manufacturing to this area? Awesome. Here's a grant. We're going to a program that we would like you to be a part of to bring manufacturing. You say you can have, 4 more jobs, and then in 2 years, 16 total jobs. Like that's your projection. Awesome. There's a grant funding for every. And
where to get those grants from as well. Like, for example, the business expo I participated in today.
Yeah.
The Office of Economic Development was there speaking. For example, they have a grant.
Yeah.
They have several grants to help. So it's how to access the information too. And how is that being communicated, right?
Yeah.
And,
I can see why
and I can
Fontana
hear
is
you.
an advocate for you. This has been good. Yeah.
Good.
I guess like where I go with this is Salida living on like hopes and dreams, and just like I look at it right now and some of the stuff that I see money being put into seems,
for example,
not fiscally responsible. And maybe not even on point with the vision of drawing tourism,
right.
but just maybe one business is benefits from it. But I just like, I look at it and I'm like, where are we going? Like my wife and I love to eat out.
Mm-hmm.
I am not ashamed to say that. We love to go downtown Salida.
Mm-hmm.
The closing of F Street, to me,
Mm-hmm.
is a roadblock. Parking is a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And you get downtown to your favorite eatery, right? Like, that's right downtown. And it's ghost town.
At a certain hour or
5:30,
general?
6:30
Yeah.
on a
Middle of the week,
middle of the week.
trying
or
to support businesses
Yeah.
downtown.
downtown. It's like I look at that and I go, there's 5 or 6 people walking on the roadway, which the sidewalks are
Plenty big.
plenty big, right? I think a thing that's thought of tourism is rafting season.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people forget there are a lot of hunters that come here. A lot.
It's an $8 million
So
What?
industry.
To Colorado, an $8 million industry
For
in
Colorado.
general for Colorado.
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no.
No.
It's a B.
2 billion.
2 billion.
Oh,
yes,
2
that's what it was.
billion.
Yeah, I know there's a
Okay.
yeah.
This is a $2
Wow.
billion industry to Colorado. But what I look at is like, you got guys and gals traveling from all over the United States.
Mhm.
They go hunting, they do their thing, and they're like, you know what? We're close to town. Let's run into town. Where do they park? Where do they put their stuff? Like I'll just grab something on 50 highway.
Do you think there's a lack of parking or the lack of someone knowing where to park?
Well, I think that could be a twofold thing,
Yeah.
right?
Closing
Is when you
deters people. I think.
when you
Mhm.
close it,
Yeah.
it creates a lot of, like, the one area that I look at is like, it would be like Second and F,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have natural grocers there,
Mm-hmm.
or natural grocers, and then you have the taco shop, you got Amika's down the road,
Mhm.
all that stuff. It's swamped with cars,
Mhm.
and there's lots of parking in front of businesses that aren't open during those times. Like, you got a lot of
Kaleidoscope. You've got the mixing bowl. There's all those businesses that
That you're saying those businesses are closed because it's after 5.
yeah.
And but the F Street is closed down.
Yeah.
Right.
And so therefore
Parking.
people can't park
Yeah.
in those in front of those closed businesses because F Street is closed down.
Yep.
So I do know that as part of this November election, not only are people voting on, city council seats and the mayor, but the council has put forward to the public to be on the ballot to keep F Street open for 3 years or closed for 3 years. Do you know about
That's-
that?
And you can
Yeah.
only vote on that if you're a Salida
And you can,
resident.
right.
Hence,
Hence, everyone
from
coming
Nathrop.
here I
in.
am coming
Right.
from Nathrop, a business owner.
Right.
And I understand the process. I get it, and I understand it, and it to me it makes sense eventually. I don't think we're there personally. As a town, the growth isn't there to justify that time
Yeah.
frame. I think in the summertime, sure, from a safety aspect, other side of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Safety wise, makes
Mhm.
sense. I get it. But from businesses that want to grow and have customers,
Yeah.
to me that like is not crazy, but it's like, man, you are really deterring people from actually entering your business.
Mm-hmm.
I think
To me personally, when they were going to vote on the parking piece, like
Mhm.
pay for parking,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be upfront and honest. I won't go downtown.
yeah.
If I have to pay for parking, I won't go.
Mm-hmm.
So David Lady, I think, brought up maybe even 2 meetings ago that the idea of looking into removable or mechanical bollards,
Right.
right? And I think
Mhm.
that would serve an amazing opportunity to say, okay, well, during these hours, the bollards are up. During these hours, the bollards are down because that business and that business and that business all on this block are completely closed, and that frees up 12 parking spots for people.
Mm.
What that wouldn't do, obviously, is those that have, additional seating outside for businesses, but
Right.
that would still take up a parking spot, but you'd still be able to drive and park next to it.
Mhm.
So you would gain. Is the initial investment more? Yes. But is the potential for a very easy situation where, hey, we've got a concert coming up, ballards are up all day, all night, blocking it off, right?
Mhm.
So I think I brought this up to you about, people driving to Fremont County
Right.
and spending their hard-earned money that they're making here to pay to
Right.
to save
Because
money.
Mhm.
I know people that, downtown's going to be an absolute disaster because they have it blocked off. And whether it's true that it's blocked off or not, or it's going to be crazy and there's no parking,
Mhm.
it's like, you know what, let's just stay on 50 highway. Or, you know what,
Mhm.
even other things, let's just drive all the way up to BV because I know where there's going to be parking up there. I know we're going to be able to find a place.
Mhm.
And it's driving people that are trying to support the businesses, right? As they should, and support those friends that run the businesses and those people that work there, but they're again, it's red tape, right? There's always
Mhm.
all these things that are
Mhm.
causing people just to second guess, like, I do want sushi, but we'll just make sandwiches at home, or we'll just grab some
Mhm.
Thai on highway.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get people who live out of the city, wanting to come downtown or to highway. Why do people not walk? What?
because they're elderly.
Because they're elderly. Yeah, that's one reason, right? But see, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is how we collaborate.
Yeah,
This is how we
absolutely.
sit at the table and have open discussion. And again, none of it should be because of partisan,
Right.
right? It doesn't matter if someone is partisan. Everyone needs to get to where they're going somehow,
Yeah.
some way. And how do we talk? How do we open the conversation? Just as we're doing here. It's
Right.
a civil conversation,
Yeah, I think so.
right?
Valid.
And it's an open conversation. That is what I want to bring,
Cool.
right?
I think the other part of the validation of shutting down downtown, I think what you're saying earlier is it's not there because if it's truly only 5,700 people, and those people, that does not constitute the amount of people that are going to be in walking distance or biking distance that would be able to make downtown a continued major success. Because of that, it's not like if the numbers were correctly skewed and it is 57, it's not 8,000 or 10,000. Well, are those 10,000, 8,000, 5,700 in this concentrated area? Then blocking those spaces off means all the world. Are there discounts for those that walked or biked or incentives, right? So I think that's kind of where you're going with that, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
It's just not a population of 20,000 that all have 15-minute cities that they can get everywhere they need to by walking.
Right. And you're also talking about there's 5,700 according, right, to 2024 stats of people that live in Salida, but that does not also, or maybe there's 8,000, but
Right.
that's also not taking into effect all the people who
Right.
right?
The Airbnbs.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I guess that's another thing too. There's been a conversation with Poncha really wanting to bring the possibility of like another hotel, right? Because that's something they're missing. A library, rec center, those types of things.
Right.
Is there any, I guess, are they battling for the rec center versus Salida, or is it something that is going to be potential to work together? Have you heard or been any discussions about?
I would hope that there would be potential to work together, right? Because if there is a rec center that BV wants to build, well, it would be beneficial to know what the surrounding cities would want to do there because they will
does it
be
benefit?
going. How does it benefit everyone? And again, that's the conversation we need to be having,
Are we
right?
voting in, or would the Salidans be voting in November about the ice rink over in Smeltertown area then too?
I'm not sure if that's on the ballot.
No.
I'm
I
not.
was just
That's not a
curious.
ballot
Okay.
measure.
I just
believe.
driving over there,
Yeah.
always seeing the signs.
It
Yeah.
got voted down.
Did okay.
Mhm.
Which seems odd that there's
Yeah,
all
it
that
got voted down
space.
to be built.
Okay.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it got
Gotcha.
voted down to be built.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Which is an interesting thing. I mean, there's a lot of kids that do play ice hockey around here. It's kind of surprising, honestly.
Yeah.
Kids that are
Mhm.
traveling over to
travel.
Summit County.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
It's actually really
Gosh,
interesting.
even
I did,
Gunnison.
yeah, I
Fresno,
didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah.
Until more recently.
Mhm.
Um, the
And in tandem with what you're saying about, for example, and or building pickleball courts, somewhere,
You're a pickleballer, aren't you?
no, I'm a tennis player.
Ah, true to the core.
I competed in tennis
Oh, nice.
in America and abroad, but that goes back to my competitive nature. But
Got to use that somewhere.
yeah. No, I'm not against pickleball. But people love
That's the clip.
pickleball, though.
Yeah.
People love pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even Andre Agassi switched his whole thing from playing tennis. Now he's all huge advocate over pickleball.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is great. But what I'm saying is, the part of the conundrum is also in this conversation, and what I'm hearing from the community is, keeping our Salida, right? But then having people that move here from other states or bigger cities that have all these amenities because they live in a bigger,
Right.
larger population that warrants all of these. So they move here to a smaller community, and maybe we can't build as big as the big cities.
Yeah.
And maybe we can't have everything that all the big cities do. And if we can't have it, can it be scaled down? Can it, all of these are questions, right? It's not for the mayor to decide whether to have it or not. Again,
city administrator.
it's for
in the
the
council.
city, the constituents to bring it forward to council. But again, the city administrator has the power to take those contracts, right? To, if there was a company that wanted to come in and build a big rec center, it is my understanding the city administrator looks at all of those contracts again and then passes that information down to us in a shorter version. And then the city brings their thought to council.
Again, this kind of goes back to something you were mentioning, the transparency of understanding, like, this was not a budget conscious or fiscally responsible, direction. What is the transparency that now we know that this one business or this politically motivated individual drove this and, was able to create this thing, this expenditure now that has cost taxpayers X amount of dollars. But again, and you kind of alluded to it, like the transparency thing is going to be vital moving forward for council members, for city administrator, for the mayor, to make sure that people understand why these decisions are being made, why these questions were asked, why these questions weren't asked, and then bringing that all together so that people understand, no matter what social media platform, what newspaper they're reading, that information is disseminated appropriately so that there's not that question of, like, how dirty is the city council? Why are they playing this, this game that, just takes our money and puts it wherever they want? And not to say that that is the scenario, but where's the transparency to prove me wrong?
Right.
So that's
and accountability.
Yeah, accountability.
Yeah, it's a combination. Yeah, absolutely.
The way I would say it is, we want to play in the big leagues, but we're playing t-ball.
Interesting.
Right, with t-ball thinking. Some things that I look at personally is large capital expenditures that the city is making should bear the brunt of developers, or I feel like those people who want to bring that type of thing and benefit off of the city, but need XYZ, whether that's more water, more first responders, more walking paths, more whatever. Those contracts should read appropriately to benefit the city appropriately for appropriate growth, right? Like,
that's a good perspective.
Because if you look at it, the east side of Salida is booming with development and other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What was the buy-in? Was it affordable housing? Was it walking paths? Was it, hey, they have to purchase a fire engine, 4 cop cars, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
these are all things that I think of from my background, knowing that if you were going to do a development, there was fire stations,
Mm-hmm.
fire trucks,
Mm-hmm.
positions to be filled, so money to the city to afford that
Mm-hmm.
growth.
Yeah.
Additional
Police,
water,
additional
additional
water,
police.
all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff is all built in. And that's why I kind of feel like, that when I say we want to play in the big leagues, but we're thinking like T-ballers, is I am just not seeing the direction, right?
What's the benefit for the city?
Like,
Because the city's continuing to pay.
the attraction is Salida,
Mm-hmm.
right? Salida in its history, Salida in its beauty, Salida
Mhm.
in its people.
Mm-hmm. Activities.
What
Mhm.
we have so much to offer,
Mhm.
yet we're selling it pennies on the dollar.
Mm.
Maybe this is more of a personal thought process here, just being forward with it, is maybe that, is what I see and what I hear is that you would steer the ship, right, in a what's it called,
Fiscally responsible.
fiscally responsible
Yeah.
way, right? So maybe getting away from feelings and stuff that just really, at the end of the day, it matters,
Mm-hmm. Feelings matter.
but does it matter when it comes to financial stuff or
Mhm.
or direction of where we all want?
Right. I think you're speaking that more from a business perspective. People do have feelings. Feelings matter,
Mhm.
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Absolutely, feelings matter. And but also in that, serving as mayor and city council, we have to make tough decisions.
Yeah.
And but my feelings,
Mm-hmm.
right? What I think my feelings are shouldn't matter
Mm-hmm.
to
The direction.
the direction of the city,
Mhm.
nor should city council.
Correct.
Because we are here to work with the city administrator and the constituents to come up with how the direction of Salida should be,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Should be moving forward. So,
I feel like there's two things there, right?
yeah.
Right. So there's a business aspect, right,
Mhm.
of how the city should run
Mm-hmm.
in a, kind of great world or
Utopia.
utopia world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of the business part of it is there are hard decisions that have to be made.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's not the benefit for 5%, but it's for the benefit of 95%.
Yeah, and I think, as mayor, speaking to as many people and seeing how we can collaborate, how we can be more unified. What's the vision moving forward? What's the overall vision, right? That doesn't come from the mayor.
No.
Do you see what I'm saying? So when people ask, what's your vision? Like you asked me earlier, it shouldn't be my vision.
Yeah.
It should be our community vision so that we're all striving for the same thing.
But your listening tour gives you the perspective, right, to see what that vision
Absolutely could potentially be.
Yeah. That's important. I think going back to kind of what you were saying too is like almost what's being taken for granted is the people of Salida, is what makes Salida attractive for people to want to move here and retire here. And if you continue to play t-ball and you continue to not or take advantage of the small aspect of Salida that makes it unique and this amazing space for hunters, for travelers, for retirees, and you continue to, like you're saying, like we don't need a mega center pickleball place here because we don't, that's not the community. Like, if we scale it down and we create something that's unique to our space, and doesn't overwhelm the space and serves a purpose, it's perfect. Is it dual purpose? Yes. There's also volleyball courts. So now we have a rec center that can do dual purpose for the community and not have to take over the high school and
Right.
bring in more things
It's helping
outside.
people think outside of the box too, right? Like, and how do we utilize our resources in the best way?
Right. Tracy, I really appreciate you coming and spending the time with us and having this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Very
very
good.
enlightening, and I believe this will hopefully help a lot of people be a little bit more educated come November.
Absolutely.
appreciate
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Good.
And maybe I can be on again after I become mayor.
There you
That
go.
would be great. We can
Thank
kind of
you.
work through the processes, yeah.
Right.
And remember, get out there and vote in November. And if you do like this type of content, please give us a like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.